Good morning everyone, welcome to 10 Rep Studio. In today's live stream session I will be painting my friend, a human figure. That's the theme of the live stream, but the photo is of my friend with an adorable puppy. The friend's name is Anna and the puppy's name is Jess, and you've seen me painting here on my channel before. If you want to know more about painting pets, I will be working with watercolor, and for my line work I will be using Derwent Inktense pencil. I already sketched out my composition, and the reason I picked Derwent pencil instead of regular pencil is that it's water soluble, so hopefully it will blend into my painting instead of fighting with it. Like usually you have to erase the painting before you start applying watercolor, but hopefully with Derwent I will get a more interesting result. So let's get started. I'm going to try to work in a more neutral palette than I usually do. First of all, the reference photo is pretty neutral colors, and then I want to use limited palette. That's my challenge, not to use too many colors today. I'm going to start with the light areas. I'm going to use some quinacridone gold, and I'm actually going to start. This is my lightest area if you don't count the window and the light above, on the lightest area on the figure. So I'm going to immediately, just as I start, establish that this is going to be my white. And actually I'm kind of painting around, but if the object is dark you can round paint over it, it's no big deal. And because it's a quick sketch, I don't want to cover every single inch of paper. It will be kind of like a vignette. So I'm applying just very light washes of color around the figure. And I see that she has this kind of similar tone on her hair, so let's throw it in. And you see how pencil starts to blend in, which is really good for my purposes. Okay, and I can drop the same color on the puppy, on the paws. They're pretty light. So, German Shepherd. She doesn't look like that anymore. She's all grown up. They grow up very fast. But she was sure cute when she was little. Okay, and now let's finish working around the figure. I'm going to use burnt sienna. I very rarely use kind of earth tones, but just for purposes of working quicker, I'm not going to mix. I'm going to just use it out of the pan, and it will work on the window frame. Paper towel. So I'm just kind of getting a first pass on the whole painting, trying to establish my tonal relationship, what's going to be light and what's going to be dark. And her hair is obviously needs to be a lot darker on this side than the background, but I'll get to it. Let's drop colors everywhere first to see how it all works together. Shirt. I'm using cold press watercolor paper. And you can see, even though I don't use a lot of different colors, I'm getting a pretty colorful effect. I'll need to neutralize all these various colors that I throw on. Now the puppy is pretty dark. I'm gonna use a smaller brush. So I can still go with burnt sienna, but I need to neutralize it somehow. Let's try some ultramarine blue. That's a bit too green. And let's try to mix in some, this is Windsor Red. You see I have it right here. And need a lot more tone. See how neutral it becomes? I'm getting that neutral tone that I'm looking for because I basically mixed three primary colors, red, blue, and yellow. In this case it's more brown but has yellow base. So this will work great for my book. And I'll throw this on the page. Just looking at my reference photo and following what's there. And I know people get worried about losing your drawing. And I know, yeah, it's important to see it. Also, you drew it, you can redraw it with your brush, so don't worry too much. And see why I love mixing colors instead of using them out of the pen? I get all this nice variation of color that makes it a lot more interesting than just applying the same color everywhere. Just some dark on her paws. And just some dark on the back here. It's her tail, by the way, I can't forget the tail. And I can throw, see how her the model's shirt is pretty similar. So I can throw in a similar tone on the jacket. So it's very dark here. And again, when you mix, you get slightly different mixture, which I really like. I just don't like the same color here. I think it looks very boring. And this sleeve, I forgot to paint it, but it's fine. The paws that she's holding, and the hand is cast in shadow. And her elbow is cast in shadow, which we're going to paint. I think it needs to be neutral, a little more towards blue. Let's use this. Make the shadows cooler. So this is all in shadow. And I tend to do this too. You kind of paint little patches here and there, but it's always better to unify your shapes. Makes the painting look more harmonious and, you know, finished. You can always drop a little more.
So now we need to talk about our light areas and about our skin tone. Skin tone is basically the same thing as any color, so just look at your model and decide which colors will work closest to what you need to achieve. So her face is very light. I think if I use, she's got like rosy cheeks, so I think if I use a bit of Windsor Red, very diluted, and I'm just going to drop it. Some areas are even white, so I'm going to save those, but everywhere else I'm going to drop my kind of pale pink wash. And I also have Derwent line work already on the face, so that will give me help with when I will be working on shadows on her face. So I just run this whole wash through the face, and already you see that I'm, you know, with one color I'm getting the result that it looks like, you know, a face. And I'm going to do the same thing for her hand. And now to add shadows, I'm going to drop in some French ultramarine blue, and oh, it's called French ultramarine. So mixing with that really pale red wash, it will give me purple, right? Red plus blue for the most part gives you purple. So I'm going to drop it in the shaded areas. I'm not even worrying about, you know, painting separately the eyes or the nose. I work on the face as a whole shape. Now the only thing that I need to, you see the eyes kind of started to run a little bit, and that's what I want. That's the effect I want. I painted like a little square here, which I don't like, so I'm going to lift some paint carefully with my brush. Maybe I'll use my paper towel. Okay, so now the tops of her cheeks are lighter, and I have shadow. Now I can, before it all dries, I can deepen some shadows. I'm going to mix actually red with blue to get my mixture for the shadows, and just drop more intense color under her chin, and on her cheek that side needs to be darker. And I'm going to, she has a, just define her features a little better, maybe one darker mixture. Nose protrudes quite a bit, so there will be a darker shadow under the nose, and there will be shadows in her eyes. And note that I don't paint like eyebrows, and I don't paint lashes. I just drop tone to indicate that there is something, that there is light and shadow on the face. This needs to be even darker. And actually having a little bit of red there, see how it kind of looks, she looks more alive. She has blood circling through her veins. So that's the advantage of mixing colors again, instead of using them out of the pan. And I kind of lost her ear a little bit, so I need to bring this back. Here's the neck. Okay, and then I want to darken the hair around the face. First thing, let's finish, while we have this mixture, let's finish the hands, because it will have some shadows on it as well. And I will post the finished sketch on social media, so make sure you follow Tammy Rupp Studio, where I'm on Facebook and Instagram, on Twitter, and on Pinterest, whichever you prefer. I'm going to soften this as well, the cheek. Okay, and this doesn't look exactly like her because I need to darken the hair. So I'm going again to use my mixture of burnt sienna with some red, and I'm going to, this is way too bright, so I'm going to drop a little blue into it. And I think this is pretty close to her hair in the shade. I see there is a dark shadow here, something here. At this stage I can go bolder because I have my tonal relationships pretty much established by now. Soften the hair a little bit. I need a transition between this and this. I'm going to drop some quinacridone gold in here. And it actually, yeah, her hair needs to be brighter on the lid side. And I'm going to darken it on this side. Maybe unify a little bit. Darken it over here. And she has a ponytail, so let's show this as well, so her hair is not dropped off. Okay, now that I have this color that I used for here, I can actually verify her features again and make her hopefully look more like her. Here's the eyebrow. And I'm not happy with her mouth. Mouth is tricky. It influences a lot the expression that you will have on the model. So let's try to find this form. Slightly open. There is a shadow inside. And there is a shadow under her bottom lip. I think the lip was too thin. That was the problem. And deepen this shadow. You don't want to paint like people's, every wrinkle on the face. Nobody's gonna be happy with a portrait like that, but work lightly and just paint big shapes. If they're very prominent, then put them in. It will be much better. I need to connect this. It always looks better if you connect the shapes. I'll leave this alone for now, let it dry, and I'm gonna repaint her eye. I don't like her eye. Deepen this shadow. Find the neck. Okay. Let's leave the face to dry. Let's work on the puppy for a minute. So again, my mixture of blue, burnt sienna, ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and my Winsor red, but I'm using a lot more blue now. Okay, and let's give the puppy some definition of the features as well. His little nose, or hers I should say, it's a girl. Paint her face. So I see pretty sharp shadow right here, so I need to darken it. Her shoulder kind of blends with her muzzle. I'm going to leave the muzzle, her face lighter. It's dark shape here on the cheek. And I'm going to darken her side a little bit. Okay, I think that's enough. I need to darken the shirt on my model. Just in a few places, because see how I lost the contrast between the dog? I didn't lose it. It first of all, it dried, and then second of all, everything is darker now, so I need to darken some things in the painting. Okay, don't want to do it everywhere because that will be too boring. I think her shoulder is too small. Let's correct that so the sleeve actually comes out more. And we can always, hopefully blend it in with watercolor. It's a little more difficult than with like acrylic oil painting, but you still can make corrections. So she has more of a band. Okay. Shadow. I don't know if I'm gonna paint background too much. I want the figure to kind of stand alone, or just a hint that there is something in the background here. Maybe darken this lower portion. So I'm trying to balance kind of on both sides of the painting, have all the shapes balanced. her face really bugs me. I'm going to use some clean water and scrub it off. This is 140-pound paper. It can take some abuse, not too much, so hopefully I won't have to make much more minimal corrections. And I want to bring some dark to show that this is her hair in the light. Bring some dark up to it. And she has like a highlight on the back. The light fixture looks totally white in the photo, but it's just because it kind of whited it out when the photo was taken. So we need to show that it has some shadow as well, because it will have shadow if you look at it in real life. And I love how she has this red shirt, so I'm gonna drop some red right here. It's the same Winsor red that I used in other places. And let's see where else we can maybe add a red accent, maybe on the window. Give them red curtains even if they don't have them. So now I have it balanced throughout. Maybe drop a little, make her lips a little brighter. Okay, I think this is good. All I need to do is fix the eyes that I messed up when I was messing with them, when I should have left them alone. I didn't paint this hand. I can drop a little bit of the light wash on it to make it blend with the dog a little better. Okay, let's see if this is still pretty wet, but I'll try to use a small brush so we can see the final result. So again, I'm mixing red, blue, and burnt sienna. So pretty dry brush, pretty intense mixture. Okay, so this is this eye, and this one needs to be, I think I just didn't have them in the right spot, so it will be further out. And connect the shadows. And deepen the shadows on the mouth now that it started to dry a little bit. I don't want her eyes to be closed. I want to hint that she's looking down. Maybe define the nose a little more. There's a really dark shadow under the nose. Darken the hair to help us describe the face. Intense mixture. She has more hair up here. Like that. Now as you go working on the painting, you just see more and more details, so it's a almost endless process of, you know, verifying and correcting things, finding new things. Okay, and I think I need to darken just this side with the same mixture. I'm using 3 colors. Okay, I think this now blended where I had it in the wrong spot. Restate my red. I really like that red shirt, so I'm going to make it brighter. And I'm going to brighten my imaginary curtain that's not there. Okay. And don't forget to sign your work when you're done. And that's it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed this live painting session, and make sure you subscribe to Tammy Rap Studio channel, and I'll see you next time here on YouTube.